Welcome to Miles Ahead, the Canadian Points podcast brought to you by FrugalFlyer.ca, where we talk about all things miles and points, a hobby that allows us to travel all over the world in style and on a budget. This episode, we will cover all the recent points and miles news, along with some questions from you, our loyal listeners. As per usual, I'm joined by my regular co-hosts, Josh and Jeff. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Danny. Happy to be back and recording another episode.
Yep, let's do it.
Yes. Yeah, we've got a huge episode here with lots and lots of points and miles news. And I think the most pertinent information for both Canadians and Americans is the fact that there is a brand new Amex Platinum card that has been refreshed south of the border. What are some highlights for you guys? Like, obviously, a whole bunch of new credits, but what's most impactful for the two of you?
It's been super interesting to see these refreshes as they come out. I know we had a couple others earlier this year, so it feels like everyone's trying to one-up each other as they come out, which is great for us. The personal platinum card, what really stands out for me is the semi-annual $300 for fine hotels and resorts, or the hotel collection. There's some phenomenal properties on there that they can be used for, especially if you're using a tool like maxfhr.com that kind of cherry picks the cheapest dates in there. Pretty easy to use that, provided you're traveling and okay with, even just booking on one night somewhere. But I think it's almost as good as cash, except if you have multiple cards that are trying to use multiple credits, a little bit harder. But I think that's a phenomenal benefit. And if you haven't booked with the Fine Hotels and Resorts program before, you often get things such as early check-in, perhaps late checkout. You may get a property credit or free breakfast. So there's a lot of perks that come with booking hotels through that program.
Yeah. And how about you, Jeff? What stands out on your side?
Yeah, it's just an acceleration of what we've been seeing with these premium cards is more and more credits. The nice thing is that nothing was removed with these changes. Everything is technically an addition here. My big concern with all these credits is just how much mental bandwidth is going to be required with a card like this. And I think it's a lot, just because there's a lot to keep track of. Some of them are kind of set it and forget it. So those are nice, but there's a lot that aren't. And those ones are typically all going to require you to either be physically in the US to use them or subscribe to like US only services, which I think as Canadians really puts a damper on, I think, these changes, just because I think they're just going to be difficult to use. They're already difficult to use. I mean, that's kind of the intent of all these credits. None of them are really meant to be super easy to, they are easy to use, but they're meant to be confusing, so you forget about them.
Yeah.
If Amex wanted to make things really easy, they would all just be yearly credits and you could just use them at your leisure, but they're not.
Yeah.
No, if you're not in the US, this is a tough sell for me. I'm not super convinced on the value as a Canadian.
Yeah, I think that's where it's interesting. And I know Danny, as someone who spends a lot of time in the United States, you're probably looking at this list and like, shit, like I can liquidate the majority of those credits pretty easily, right? With the personal platinum, that's where I kind of get stuck too. Like, they now have it was previously $20 a month, now $25 a month digital entertainment credit. That's really easy to liquidate from Canada, right? Sign up for a US Disney Plus or any of the other eligible memberships. Super simple. Will I use $100 quarterly on Resi restaurants? Well, I'm in the States every so often, for sure. So there might be some value there, but I can't guarantee that I'll be in the States every quarter throughout 2026 and use it at a restaurant. It's tough to say, right? So the value is maybe not as hot for us in Canada, but there's still, some workaround and some other things that you can do to extract a bit of credit, but there's not really any easy way around, using the Uber credit while you're in Canada, for example.
Yeah, no, that definitely will be a tough one. I mean, getting Uber One, kind of $120 US. Actually, this is a good point. I don't know. Does the US subscription to Uber One transfer over when you're in Canada?
Well, I don't believe it does. No.
I don't think so. I think they treat it completely separate, because I buy US Uber gift cards with my Biz Gold for the monthly credit. And when I load those
Sure.
to my account, it's like they're region locked. I can only use them in the States. And I feel like Uber One is similar. So again, useful
Yes.
when you're in the States, right? Not to diminish that, but maybe not as useful day to day for Canadians.
I agree. Now, in terms of those Resi credits, there are a few Resi eligible restaurants that are just across the border.
Oh.
So if you're a resident of Toronto and you enjoy wine country down in Niagara-on-the-Lake, if you just make your way across the Peace Bridge in Buffalo, there are a whole bunch of eligible restaurants just across the way there. So
That's a great
some
tip.
potential options to take advantage there. Burlington, Vermont, just south of Montreal, there are a few restaurants there as well that you can take advantage of. And then for Vancouver residents, or for Jeff, speaking directly to you, Bellingham, Washington has at least one or two options for Resi credits. So if you fancy a road trip and you're a maximizer that enjoys a free meal, then there are some options if you live in one of those towns that are not so far away from the border.
I have heard of, so there's that $75 a quarter Lululemon credit. I've heard of people buying gift cards, and it seems to be working. So that, again, not sure if you can use Lululemon gift cards in Canada. Some retailers let that happen, others don't. But you could at least purchase them and, resell them or something if you're looking to get a little bit of money out. So there's an angle there. Yeah.
Or, similar if you're in a border town and you have a mailbox to ship to. I know we all use 24/7 parcel quite a bit. You could actually send them a parcel rather than a credit card
that's
this
true.
time. And go across the border and pick that up. Or maybe actually their parcel forwarding service isn't too terribly expensive. Or, at least if you're buying something from the We Made Too Much section on the Lululemon website, then at least you're getting good value, even if you have to pay $10 to get it across the border. So I think overall, because nothing left, to me, it's kind of a home run. There's just added value. And I think even for Canadians, most people will be able to get an extra $200 out of this card because we've got $600 in hotel credits, $400 in dining credits, and then $300 in Lululemon credits. Yeah. So you should be able to get at least $200 out.
Yeah. We forgot to mention the annual fee went up by $200, which is why Danny's referencing that number. So always sucks to see an annual fee increase, but no doubt in my mind they outweighed that increase with credits and things they've added. And I too love that they didn't take stuff away, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you've never had the card and you want the welcome bonus, it's still
easy.
A great card for that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, if you have fallen in love with the card after hearing us talk about it and you haven't gotten the green or the gold, you probably want to do that first because Amex US does have family language. And if you've never heard that before, we'll link an article in the show notes. You can read all about it and make sure that you're following those family language rules. The last thing that I have before we move on to the Business Platinum is if you've already used up your $200 Fine Hotels and Resorts credit, that was a previous benefit of the US Platinum card, you will have a new $300 FHR credit to use until the end of the year. So if you're currently a Platinum card holder, ensure that you don't miss out on that. All right, moving on to the Business Platinum. To me, also a $200 annual fee increase. Let's get that out of the way first. Less of a home run, but I know that Josh has quite a few of these cards. So Josh, let's get your take on everything Business Platinum, $895, shiny and new.
For sure. So shiny and new is a great place to start. We forgot to mention it. The cards now come in a mirror finish. You thought these cards could not get any cooler. They're trying. I have not gotten one yet. I did just get approved for a Business Platinum a few days ago. So I'm going to request that in mirror. So that's a nice little perk if you're trying to collect them all with all the different designs. Similar to what we're seeing on the Platinum, they now have added Fine Hotels and Resorts credits to the Business Platinum as well. $300 semi-annually again. Very similar to use. We also have increased earning rates, which was super nice to see. The earning rates on the personal Platinum card didn't change at all, but they did change on the Business Platinum. So previously, there were several categories that earned 1.5 membership rewards per dollar spent, or if you did a purchase over $5,000, you would earn 1.5. Those are now up to 2, so a slight increase, which is great, especially if you are actually using the card for a business and have high dollar spending. It makes it that much more valuable. And similarly, what we saw with the Personal Platinum, well, they didn't take anything away. They left the Hilton credits, they left the airline credits, they left the Dell credit, they left the Adobe and the Indeed credit and all that good stuff. So once again, just by raw numbers, the additions are far, far more than the $200 increase. So I think the BizPlat turned out excellent as well. And obviously the BizPlat, we're now seeing welcome bonuses up to 300,000 membership rewards points after spending 20K USD in 3 months. That shit's crazy. Like that's just, it just gets bigger and bigger. So they're really selling the card, to say the least.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think that there's definitely more than $200 of value added to the card, but I'm not as sold that this card is a home run keeper. Like when I look at the credits, like you say, you've got your 250 Adobe credit. I'm not going to use that, right? A $360 Indeed credit, like Jeff shaking his head, like not really applicable.
Yep, I agree.
I think the Hilton credit, probably usable. Right. We will get to some news about the Hilton gift cards that's coming a little bit later. If you start to have the Personal Platinum and the Business Platinum, I think the $600 FHR starts to lose a little bit of value because now you've got to start spending a lot of money at those hotels, right?
Yep. Yes. Yep. So I agree wholeheartedly. Great card to get for the welcome bonus. Great card to get for the first year. Just canceled one yesterday and will continue to always cancel these cards at the 1 year mark.
Yes. Yeah, no, excellent cards for the welcome bonus, but not a keeper like the Platinum. We've had my wife's Platinum for, 3 years now. And I mean, she won't let me cancel it because she loves her flowery finish on her Platinum card.
Nice design.
She'll never give that up. And then even more so now with the mirror finish, the replacement card has already been ordered. The current card was allegedly damaged, so we needed a replacement, right? And if you didn't know, if you ever want to change the design of your US credit cards, very easy to say that your card was damaged and choose a new design for your card. The only thing that we haven't touched on yet is leading to hotels of the world sterling status. Interesting perk. I've only stayed at a LHOW property once before. It was in Dublin, actually using an FHR credit. Lovely hotel. But when you're using FHR, you get all the perks of status, if not actually more. So not sure if I'm going to frequent LHOW. And even with how much travel I do, I still have a hard time keeping up with all my mainstream elite statuses. So not sure if I'll go out of my way to take advantage of those perks. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, kind of aligned.
Yeah, this was never even a loyalty program I'd even heard of prior to this.
I was going to say, I don't think I knew it existed.
Yeah, I don't know what their footprint is like, but I will probably rarely, if ever, stay at one of these places.
Well, to flex my points and miles knowledge and dunk on you guys a little bit, the leading hotels of the world loyalty program is in fact a transfer partner of Citibank. So I think it's a 1-to-5 or a 5-to-1 transfer ratio, but their points are worth about 8 cents each. So it's can be a lucrative option. And if you've got a lot of Citi points, which I don't know how many of our listeners would have, considering we're mainly a Canadian show, you can now use your LHOW, your Citi points, to stay at LHOW, leading hotels of the world, and have a little bit of status to go along with it. So better than not having status. Okay, so moving on from our refreshed Platinum cards and the leading hotels of the world sterling status, we now have some news about the quarterly Hilton credits no longer being usable to purchase gift cards. Josh, what's going on here?
So for those who don't know, on the Hilton Honors Surpass card, there's a $50 quarterly Hilton credit. The same thing is on the Business Platinum card, and then on the Hilton Honors Business card, there's a $60 quarterly credit. So these are pretty easy to use if you're staying in Hilton properties. You just pay for your room charges or incidentals, whatever, with your card. But as you accrue more of these, it can be harder to use them. So what people were previously doing is you can buy Hilton gift cards online and have it shipped, like the physical card, to a US address. They have been out of stock since earlier this year, and there's a crazy amount of stories as to how hard it is to use these gift cards. So it's not an avenue I would recommend, but it is something people were doing. There are new terms and conditions out there now that American Express has said they are not deeming these purchases eligible for that credit. So if it is something you were doing, you might not want to do it in the future. Not really a big change for a lot of people who are using them organically. It's still worth seeing in my eyes. If you're going to stay at a property where you're going to be spending a bunch of money, such as a resort, I've had really good success in emailing the hotel in advance and saying, hey, I want to make like 10 or 15 $50 prepayments. They might not let you do them all, but they will let you do a good chunk depending on the property. And then you could just run the rest at $50 increments when you're checking out. So kind of, the same approach as always for a lot of us on the team, I believe, just using them normally. But if you were buying gift cards online, probably something you want to pivot away from. So you aren't, so you don't end up with Hilton gift cards that are tough to use and no credit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. So the best opportunity to take advantage of those $50 credits, if you're not going to be at a Hilton property, is to do the prepayment. However, it's always worth giving it a go to head to a Hilton property that's maybe a little bit larger, that has a restaurant. And sometimes, even if you just have dinner at the restaurant, that $50 charge will code as Hilton, and you'll get the dollars back anyway. So worth trying out at your local Hilton if you've got one that's large enough and they've got a decent restaurant, and see if that works for you. Moving on from Hilton, we now have some huge changes to the WestJet RBC World Elite Mastercard happening November 5th. So not too much notice after this is going to be published that these changes take place. Not great at all. I think WestJet had an opportunity to be pretty creative with their MasterCard, especially after the Porter card was refreshed, and Air Canada's got a great lineup of cards. Unfortunately, I think these changes kind of pushed the WestJet MasterCard into even more obscurity than it already was. Jeff, give us the details on this. What's going on?
So the first thing is that the annual fee is going up by $20, so it's going to be $139 going forward. And we're talking about the World Elite MasterCard, which I think honestly is the card that most people have and most people associate when they think of the WestJet credit card. So that's going up to $139. Now they are kind of like throwing you a bone here, but they are increasing the earn rates for some category spending. So before, if you remember, it was 1.5 WestJet dollars. WestJet points per dollar spent baseline, and then 2 WestJet points per dollar spent on WestJet flights. They're bumping up some categories to 2 WestJet points per dollar spent, such as grocery, gas, electric vehicle charging, rideshare, and stuff like that. Honestly, I'm not really sure that extra 0.5 of a point is really going to make a difference. There's already so many other cards in the market that completely blow that away. It's nice that they did that, I guess. But if this is your daily driver and you use this card for all your spending, and we've met some people at our meetups that we've had recently who actually are big fans of this card. So I won't kind of discount what they've done here, because there are people that use this card exclusively. They just want to take the family and grandma and grandpa to Cancun once a year, and they use the companion pass and they put their points towards it, and they're totally happy doing that. So from that standpoint, it's not a total disaster. You're earning a bit more on the grocery spend and a few other things. So it's kind of you're probably going to come out ahead, even though there's a $20 increase in annual fee. So if you're that type of person, then I think you're probably going to do fine. For people like us who are not really looking to do that, everything else is a massive downgrade, in my opinion. Companion, we can touch on the companion voucher now too, because that's probably one of the primary benefits of this card. It's now going to require $5,000 in spend over the course of 12 months in order to activate that companion voucher. That's in subsequent years after you first receive it. So it's my understanding that on approval, you'll still receive it instantly, right? Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I did a bit of a comparison to see what how WestJet now lines up against the other two companion vouchers that are available in Canada. And honestly, it's not as bad as it might look. You might think $5,000 spend, ooh, I don't really want to do that on this card. But to receive the Air Canada companion voucher, you have to spend $25,000 in a year on the premium card, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're talking about the $599 premium Aeroplan credit card. And then, honestly, I didn't even realize this until I was looking at, but the spend required on the VI Porter World Elite MasterCard is crazy. As part of the welcome bonus, you earn it for spending $9,000 within the first 180 days. But subsequent years, you got to spend $50,000, which to me, I don't know about you guys, but that seems crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I feel like WestJet had they felt like they had a bit of latitude here to tack on some spend to earning the companion pass just because of what Air Canada and Porter are doing.
Yeah. I think for me, Jeff, this falls into the same thing. Like you said, if you're a person that uses this card every day, and that's kind of, I've met people, I have family members that love this card. Being based in Edmonton, WestJet is a big player. The $5,000 is not hard to hit in a year, but if you're really looking to maximize your points, it's rough, to say the least. So, but there are some new uses with the companion voucher as well. So, what are our thoughts on those?
Okay, I'll go. Initially, I was really pleased with these, but the more I kind of dug into the terms and conditions, I was becoming more and more disappointed with how it actually turned out. So what they're doing for solo travelers is allowing you to convert your companion voucher into a 30% discount code that's good for up to one round-trip flight. That sounds nice, but there's just a lot of restrictions and limitations on it that honestly are really disappointing. There's a 30-day advanced purchase requirement. Now, do either of you guys know if that's on the companion voucher as well, or is this just exclusively to this 30% discount?
Definitely voucher? Exclusive to this. Companion vouchers, just once they're issued, you have a year to use them. You can use them whenever. So it's becoming more restrictive, feels like. Yeah.
And then the discount codes expire. You can get at most 90 days from the time you convert your companion voucher into a discount, the 30% discount code. It expires at most 90 days from the time it's issued, which honestly just is awful in my opinion. I don't understand that one, but hey, whatever. There's blackout dates that apply to these. And once again, this is similar to the companion voucher as well. The 30% discount only applies to the base fare. So you're still on the hook for the taxes, surcharges. And we've seen that WestJet often has some of these. I forget what they actually call it. It's other ATC, right?
Yes,
that's right. Air transportation charges.
Yeah. That's not covered. So I mean, the 30% is not really what it's saying.
Yeah. Fly into London and have the 700 ATC, and none of that is discounted. Yeah, absolutely nuts.
So thumbs down for me on the discount code, unfortunately.
So,
yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say that there's the two other options as well. They're even less exciting, I would say. So for those in the know, you used to be able to exchange companion vouchers for airport lounge passes. Used to be able to exchange one voucher for 4 of those passes. It's now only 2. That's a 50% downgrade. Pretty rough. You're going to can't get a family in anymore, which is pretty brutal. And then the other one is, I'm assuming very niche, maybe more people. I mean, I know more people out there book vacation packages than the 3 of us on this call, but you can exchange a companion voucher for a $200 WestJet Vacations or Sunwing Vacations credit. So if you're booking all-inclusives and you like your flights package with your hotels, I guess it's $200 if you're not going to use it on anything else. But it's not really selling it for me, to say the least.
No. I'm looking through these changes and hearing Jeff talk about it, and I was never a big WestJet fan beforehand, and I'm certainly not now. I think the big thing for me that really sucks about this whole change is that you now need to pay for your WestJet flight with your WestJet Mastercard in order to get free check bags.
This is the only airline program that does that in Canada. It's bizarre, to me. Yep. Like again, at least stay competitive at a baseline level. Like, geez. So, like, for sure the majority of people will, but there'll be cases where people don't pay for it with that card, expecting free check bags. It's going to be a hassle for check-in agents. It's just going to be a pain in the ass for everyone, right?
Yep.
So, I don't understand really what they're gaining from that. I guess that's where I struggle.
Yeah, every year, it feels like WestJet is becoming more and more like a discount airline.
Maybe every day I would buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, almost. But I mean, when we first started this podcast, like in the summer of last year, WestJet had just introduced Ultra Basic. And then now we're seeing them kind of 1 year on, introducing this new restriction for their co-branded credit card. So, what's next, right? I mean, I think they might be the Bonvoy of the skies. We'll have to come up with some sort of a acronym for being WestJetted or West jettisoned. How about that?
Like
TM.
That.
Yes. Yeah. So West jettisoning on from the WestJet cards, unless anybody else has anything to add. All right. And jettisoning our way straight to some more bad news with a Hilton devaluation. Josh, I know you're a pretty big Hilton guy. This is not great overall, but pretty good if you have some free night certificates. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, devaluations in any program, always brutal. We've seen multiple increases in the past 12 months at this point for many aspirational higher-end Hilton Honors properties, which has been terrible. The Waldorf Astoria, Los Pedregal in Cabo used to be, I think it was like 120K. It's now up to 250 after multiple increases this year. So even if you have 1 million Hilton points, you can stay 5 nights with the 5th night free, which is just, hey, if you're making that much, that's great, but terrible, terrible value. I was looking the other day at Santa Monica. I stayed at the Oceana LXR there. It like doubled to 200K. That was not even worth it at 100K. I used a free night multiple years ago. So like just so out to lunch. The points prices are crazy, and we're not really seeing an increase on the welcome bonuses on the Hilton Honors cards right now. So things are starting to decouple very quickly, which is concerning. And I'm really starting to question the value of signing up for those cards just for a welcome bonus. But like Danny said, there is, I don't even know if to call it silver lining, but Hilton free night certificates continue to be incredibly valuable because they aren't capped. So you can use them still at all these properties as long as there's standard award availability, which can be difficult to find depending on the property. But I think we may all agree on this call that the way things are trending, I would not be surprised to see restrictions put on those free night certificates. Many years ago, if you guys remember, those used to only be usable on weekends. So, and then they were made to be used whenever, and everyone was like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. Because you could book, 5 nights in a row with these certs. So for those of us who have, multiple cert passes, multiple Aspires, and are kind of churning these certs out, still seeing a lot of value in the program. But if those certs change, it's going to be a massive hit for Hilton, and I would just cross so many potential aspirational hotels off my list at that point, which sucks, right?
Yes. So Hilton prices as high as 250,000 points a night after being about half that much just at the beginning of last year. So not super great, but keep collecting as many free night certificates as you can is the takeaway from that portion. On to some Canadian news now. The Cobalt monthly fee is increasing, and I think everybody should cancel their card. Is that an accurate statement, Mr. Jeff?
I mean, no. I think we'd all agree that it's probably the most overpowered earning card in Canada, just for that grocery spend, because that's where most people's largest monthly expenses are coming from. So yeah, this is still a really, really good card. I think this card has become so popular now that Amex has kind of put themselves in a bit of an awkward position. They don't want to nerf that 5X because they know that's why everybody loves the card. So that's why we've been seeing, this is probably, what was it originally? Was it, because it's seen like a monthly fee increase a handful of times now. I'm thinking of it, this is probably the fourth or fifth fee increase on the monthly fee. So it's getting pretty expensive. It's kind of not even really an entry level card anymore. We're approaching $200 over the course of a year, so we're kind of approaching that kind of like mid level card. So we all still love it, and as long as that 5X doesn't change, I think people are going to kind of tolerate these small little monthly fee increases. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. But for the time being, I'm not closing mine.
Too much value.
No, definitely not. Yes. Yeah, that earning of 5X, I think the math works out to be, as long as you're spending $325 a month on food and beverage, then if you wanted to, you could cash out your points at 1 cent per point, and that would allow you to wipe out that annual fee or the monthly fee completely. And even if you're spending that much, then you're getting at least that in transferable points value. So most people are spending $300 to feed themselves every month. So definitely makes sense to keep that card. Sucks to see an annual fee increase, but I'm perfectly happy paying an increased annual fee to keep my 5X earning rate. All right. And then now back to some US news. We've got a new airline, Bookable, with a very popular transferable currency. So Condor is a lovely German leisure airline. It's, I wouldn't say incorrectly, but it is incorrectly assumed that Lufthansa owns a portion of Condor. At one point in time, those two airlines were tied up. However, they are no longer not, and they are completely separate now from Lufthansa. And we now have the ability to book Condor and their excellent business class, of which we have a review, with JetBlue miles. And JetBlue miles are easier to come by than you might think. Josh, how can we get our hands on some JetBlue miles?
Like Danny mentioned, you're going to be looking to U.S. credit cards and U.S. programs. So the most common one, probably for Canadians, would be membership rewards, which transfer to JetBlue miles at a 1-to-1 ratio. Chase Ultimate Rewards also transfer to JetBlue at a 1-to-1, but might not find the most value with that, depending on if you're looking to use your Chase for Hyatt or not. I haven't actually flown Condor yet. I am looking at some routes next year because they do fly out of Calgary to Frankfurt, which is fantastic and pretty good availability. Jeff, I know you've flown them. What was your experience? Would you do it again?
Yeah, no, I loved Condor. They have brand new planes, brand new A330 Neos, a really swanky business class cabin, really nice private pods, 4K screens, service was great. Everything about it was honestly wonderful. Probably one of the best options, in my opinion, for transatlantic right now. You fly into Frankfurt. Once you're in Frankfurt, you can get absolutely anywhere you could possibly want to go, which is a really nice option for you if you're looking to go to Europe. So looking at the prices, you're looking at 54. I'm seeing 54,000 True Blue miles from the East Coast, which is an awesome price, in my opinion, especially if you're transferring 1-to-1 from Amex. Pricing from the West Coast, not so great. The lowest prices I saw was 99,900, which I would not do. I would not make that redemption. And just for comparison, the only other way to redeem points for Condor flights is through Alaska, and their points are a little bit more difficult to earn. So this is a nice alternative, I would say, if you have USMR. 54,000 from the East Coast is a great price, and I would certainly do that again.
Yeah, and I think even for Canadians that aren't as entrenched with the Hyatt program, I know a lot of my US people that I know in points and miles view ultimate rewards points as Hyatt points, and that's it, that's all. For us Canadians that maybe don't stay there as often, spending 54,000 Chase points to get an excellent seat to Europe, I don't think there's a better option than that unless you're doing the Iberia sweet spot from the East Coast to Europe, but that's a lot harder to find. And I think that this is an excellent development. Always nice to have a nice, fresh, new opportunity to fly. All right, moving back into some more Canadian news. We're kind of flip-flopping here over the border. Amex Canada has come back with another Add a Card bonus event. So if you're not familiar with these, you can add an authorized user to your account, and then you complete a kind of like a minimum spending period, and you'll get some bonus points. These ones now include business cards as well, where the ones over the summer did not. So definitely worth having a look. Did either of you two take advantage of this Add a Card bonus event?
I did not.
Not this time. I have in the past, though.
Yeah. I just don't have that many Amex Canada cards at the moment.
Yeah, I know those U.S. cards certainly are enticing. I went pretty hard with the one in the summer. They had some excellent offers where you could add 2 authorized users to the Aeroplan Reserve cards, and basically you'd pay $400 for those 2 authorized users, and you get 50,000 points. So kind of like buying Aeroplan points at less than a penny a piece. So we took advantage of that. This time around, I opted for a full-size Business Platinum. So I actually don't hold a Platinum card myself. So I have to jump on as an authorized user if I want any sort of lounge access or Centurion access. So I thought that the authorized user option for the Business Platinum was good. 35,000 points after completing about $7,000 in spend, and you pay $250, and I'm genuinely going to use those $250 of benefit as well. So I think that's great. And then staying with Amex Canada, there was an offer that came out the day that we recorded this to my email, which I thought was interesting. They have a new offer that is 3 free night certificates upon completing $5,000 in spend. And I find this interesting because those Amex Marriott cards have been like changing the bonus left, right, and center, like more so than anything else. It's hard to keep up with how often they've changed it. What do you guys think of 3 free night certificates versus some of those sky high offers we saw in the summer?
So I'm interested. First of all, I wonder, like, is this publicly available or targeted? Because like the bonuses we have on Frugal Flyer are still points based. So on the affiliate stream, they haven't changed to this, which is interesting.
Okay.
So, and no news there as of yet. Really haven't heard anything different, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're, and I know we've talked about it before, maybe Amex Canada is doing a little bit more like the States where they have multiple offers running at once, right?
Yes.
Second question, how much are the free nights worth? 35 or 50?
35K free night certificates. So effectively, if you want to look at them from a pure points perspective, if you value them at full points value, which you shouldn't, and I'm sure we're going to get into, it's basically like having 105,000 points as a sign-up bonus, except they're delved out in 35K free night certs.
Yeah. I don't know. I struggle with the 35Ks a bit sometimes. There's some good pockets. Like I know we have the JW Edmonton, which is a great 35K use, and there's a few others in Western Canada. But I think it depends what your travel plans look like. Anytime there's an offer like that, because we see it in the States with like 5 free nights on a Chase Marriott card, if you know you're going to use them and you're going to book them, sounds good. If you're getting them as like, oh, it'd be nice to have 3 free night certificates, I'd question if you're going to get the value.
Yeah, that's my concern too, just with how devalued Marriott Bonvoy points have become. Using these certificates is just a pain in the butt sometimes. If you're willing to leave North America, you're generally going to get way better value. For example, I was just in Oman, and I was able to use a 35K night cert at a St. Regis. So there's still definite value there. Don't expect to get it in North America is, I guess, kind of what I would caution people to keep in mind.
Yes. And the reason why you don't want to value these free night certs at 35,000 points apiece the same way you would if there was a 105,000 point offer is because free night certificates expire, right? So you might be forced to use one of these before you actually need to, or you might say, hey, well, this free night is only 28,000 points, but I have to use my free night certificate that's worth 35,000 because it's going to expire otherwise. So that you literally did not get the full value out of that certificate because it's expiring. So not a bad offer if you're targeted for it versus the public offer, which is what, 60,000 right now, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it might be better than the public offer, but it also depends on your travel plans. So like with any sign-up bonus, make sure that you have a plan before you sign up, not only for the bonus that you're going to get, but also how you're going to meet that minimum spending requirement. Okay. Our last two pieces of news are fairly quick. We've got the 55K RBC offers that are back again. I know that in the Points and Miles community, it's the meetups that we've had. It's been a point of contention whether it's worth spending $5,000 for the extra 20,000 points. We've touched on this on the show before. What do you guys think? Is that extra 20K worth pursuing, or would you just sign up for your 35,000 points and move on?
Take the 35K and run.
Yeah, I would agree, especially if you have like a lot of spend. Like I do a lot of like restaurant spend. You know, I'm not going to waste valuable restaurant spend that is 5 times on other cards on that when the return isn't that great. I do, however, really respect RBC for being consistent with their offers. They are really good. It's off and then it's on a couple months later, and it's off and then it's on, and we've seen that pattern for a number of years now. So if you have the spend and it's pretty easy for you to do, hey, why not? But from a min-max perspective, I can't be bothered.
No.
Yes. And then, of course, there's the rather advanced strategy where you could then switch that card into another product. And if you're lucky, you might just get a partial bonus with that as well. And I would probably say, if this is a card that you are going to spend, $4,000 or $5,000 on, you're probably better off with the Ion Plus for your everyday spending because you get lots of 3X categories and the annual fee is cheaper. So nice one to sign up for the bonus, and then, maybe do a little bit of product switching there to take full advantage. And our last piece of news is that Air Canada has a new plane, which is always very exciting. It is a Airbus A321 XLR, so super long distance, narrow body plane, very efficient. We are also going to see a brand new business class rolled out here. Looking at the pricing from Montreal to Palma de Mallorca, which is Portuguese or Spanish island? Spanish, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, gentlemen? Yes. Spanish island. Really cool destination. Nice to see Air Canada branching out a little bit, but because of dynamic pricing, it is literally more expensive than any other option to get there. When I was looking at Seats Aero, you can use Flying Blue or Condor, so using JetBlue miles to book Condor for significantly less than Air Canada, and that's leaving from Toronto. So interesting, cool plane. Hopefully they roll it out on some transcontinental routings. But for the time being, I don't think I'm going to be experiencing this business class anytime soon.
Exciting that we're getting a new Air Canada business class. I think that's really, I've been saying for a while, their seats have been due for an update. So it's nice that we're seeing that. We're probably going to see these or something similar when they start receiving their new Dreamliners. They have some 787-10s coming sometimes next year. They're supposed to have this new and improved business class. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do.
Yeah, it'll be very cool, for sure. Well, that is all we have for a packed episode of news. We now have a couple of questions to get over for our question of the month. So the first question comes from Quamail, and this was a podcast form question. And Quamail asked, if I purchase a ticket through points and I feel I was overcharged, would customer service entertain me if I have elite status and may have upgrades available. Well, Kumail, I'm not entirely sure what may have upgrades available means, but unfortunately, points tickets are points tickets. I don't really have a lot to add here. You can cancel your ticket and probably get most of your points back, but customer service is not going to be able to help you out in that regard. What do you guys think for Kumail?
Yeah, it kind of falls in the same realm of like, you can't call customer service and ask for more award seats to open. Like the miles and points game is kind of what you see is what you get. So like Danny said, if you're now seeing, perhaps you booked on a dynamically priced program and you're now seeing those seats are now half the price of what they were when you booked them. If you can cancel for free or a nominal fee and get your points back and rebook, hey, that's an option. But customer service is not going to do anything for you, unfortunately, no matter the status or anything like that. It's what you see is what you get, and what you book is what you get.
That's right. And then we also have a question from Susan. And Susan submitted her question on the podcast forum. You mentioned that there is a flights reward search tool made available from Scott Kennedy. What is the name of it? Love your podcast. And before I actually answered this question, I went back and listened. This was from our Aeroplan 3.0, where we broke down all the changes to the new Aeroplan program starting January 1st, 2026. We did name the tool there. It is Cow Tool, and there's still many Cow tools that exist. However, the flight rewards searching portion of that has since been shut down, and there's no plans to bring it back. We've already mentioned my favorite search tool on the show, which is Seats Arrow. It's very similar to Cow Tool and what it was back in the day. What do you guys have for Susan? Anything to add?
No.
So what we did mention was the newest addition to his website, which is cowtool.com, by the way. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yes.
Is a I forget what they're called now. The new Aeroplan currency.
SQCs?
Yeah, there's a new
qualifying credits.
There's an SQC calculator, which is what he's just added to the website just recently, where you can punch in your itinerary that you have coming up, and it will give you an idea of how much SQC you will earn for that segment of that flight segment. And all the search related tools on his website have been discontinued for several years now.
Yeah. They live on in our hearts.
Yes. Yeah.
They were great.
Yes.
But, life
we
moves
loved
on.
Yes, we did. We loved that Cow tool, and we've got many more search tools now. So that was back at a time when there was very little in the way of search tools. So he definitely filled a gap and kind of started a movement. So thank you very much, Scott Kennedy, for your service. That'll just about do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Miles Ahead. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions about anything we discussed, please leave a comment on the episode page or wherever you're watching or listening. And if you have a question you want us to answer on air, you can submit it on FrugalFlyer.ca/podcast. Bye, everybody.